Hello, I'm Dr. Chiddy, and welcome to Life Colours, the programme that reverses, improves and prevents all the known lifestyle diseases. Today we're going to be talking about the brown life colour, which is dementia. Welcome back to Life Colours, and we're dealing today with the brown life colour, which is dementia. I think that of all the illnesses that we deal with, especially on the lifestyle spectrum, dementia is probably the most fearful. More people worry about getting it even than cancer. But let's look at a definition of dementia. It's a syndrome where there is a deterioration in memory, thinking, behaviour, and the ability to perform everyday activities. That's why it's so frightening. People are afraid of losing the ability to be independent, and also they're afraid of losing their mind. They see the problems that it can cause for them and the people close to them, so it's one that people really do fear. But let's look at some of the statistics. Worldwide today, about 40 million people have dementia. 8 million new cases every single year, and in the UK there are nearly 1 million sufferers, with the cost to the UK of round about £23 billion per year. It's a massive global problem, because around the world, dementia takes up about 2 to 8% of the population, and the total numbers are expected to double every 20 years. So by 2030, we're expecting 80 million people to have dementia, and by 2050, roughly 150 million people worldwide with dementia. This provides a huge strain on our resources. Roughly $604 billion are spent globally each year on dementia. That equates to 1% of the world's gross domestic product. Now, it's not just financial costs that are a concern here. Especially in things like dementia, there is a human cost. Dementia can be overwhelming both for the person themselves and their caregiver. It's very difficult on both parties. That is why it is so feared. Physical, emotional, and financial pressures are put upon the caregivers and families, causing an awful lot of stress in the household. And one of the frightening things about dementia is that many people who are suffering with it are denying their basic human rights throughout the world. In certain places of the world, they are physically and chemically restrained in supposed care facilities. This is distressing to anybody who sees it. The World Health Organization is so concerned with dementia that in 2012, they made it a public health priority, knowing that if financial and human costs continue to rise, the world will find it very difficult to bear those costs. Now, although dementia affects mainly elderly people, it should never be considered a normal progression of aging. It is abnormal and is not something that anybody should expect to get. And it affects different people in different ways, and that's dependent on the severity of the disease, and it depends on the actual personality of the person before they get the disease. Not everyone is going to have the typical symptoms of dementia. So let's look at the stages of dementia. Early stage. This is where you get forgetfulness, losing track of time, and becoming lost in familiar places. At this stage, some people can just think they're just being absent-minded, but if this persists, people should be aware and definitely see their doctor. The middle stage, the forgetfulness gets a lot worse. You start to forget recent events. You become lost even at home. You have an increased difficulty in communicating. You need help with your personal care, and then your behavior may start to change, and that may mean wandering or repeating sentences over and over again. This is when people around you become incredibly concerned, and by that stage you should be seeing your doctor or your medical team. And sadly, the very late stages of dementia, This is where you become unaware of your time and place in the world, difficulty recognizing even relatives and friends. Now that is particularly distressing to your close loved ones. You will also need assistance in your self-care, so washing and bathing and going to the toilet. You'll become almost completely dependent on those around you. And then you'll have difficulty in mobilizing yourself. And lastly, and most distressingly, your behavior can change to such a degree that you can actually become aggressive. Often people become aggressive, not necessarily because they want to be aggressive, but they've just forgotten who they are, what they are, and even the sort of mind that they have. Can you imagine waking up each morning, not even recognizing or remembering the sort of character that you have? That is very difficult to deal with, and it is often expressed in aggression. Often at this point, people are unable to be maintained at home and then have to go into a care facility. Now, of all the dementias, Alzheimer's is the most common, roughly about 70%. But the other dementias tend to coexist with Alzheimer's. For example, vascular dementia. That's the dementia that occurs when you get those tiny little strokes throughout your life. That means that certain parts of your brain start to die, and with that will come a dementia. Also, Lewy body dementia can also be present with any of the other dementias at the same time. Well, the question that most people ask is, well, how do we get it? And also important, can I actually inherit it? If my mother or my father had it, does that mean I'm going to get it too? Well, there is some good news here. And the good news is that even though dementia can run in families, and even though that there are some genes that have been discovered to be linked to dementia, it does not mean you have to have dementia, even if you have the gene, even if you have family members with dementia. It has been shown that lifestyle is the most powerful force which determines whether you get dementia or not. And the reason why brown is the color of dementia is because you remember when you were a child and you used to put all kinds of paints together, all the colors together. Well, if you put enough together, you will find that you get a brown color. It's a combination of all the separate colors put together. So if you put all the other life colors together, you will get a brown color. And that's because dementia is a combination of all these risk factors and all these diseases. If you have these diseases, especially during the middle years of your life, it will predispose you to have dementia. For example, if you are obese in the middle age of life, if you suffer from stress or depression, if you have heart disease or hypertension, those have been recognized causes or precursors for you getting dementia later on in life. So what we really need to focus on is how can I prevent dementia? Now, there's no way as of yet to actually reverse dementia, but we can prevent it. So even if you have people in your family who have dementia and you're worried about it happening to you, this is a way to prevent it. And that will be by combining most of those lifestyle factors that we've talked about in all the other life colors. For example, the dark green reversal. This combines the blue and the yellow lifestyles, losing weight and cutting out dairy products. That's quite crucial if you're going to lower your risk of getting dementia in the future. Eating greens, very important because it will actually open up your arteries and keep your cardiovascular system healthy. If your cardiovascular system is healthy, well then you can't get multi-infarct dementia, you won't get those strokes, and you won't be predisposed to any other dementia. In the blue diet, we recommended a plant-rich diet, high in fruits, vegetables, and grains. This meant that you can actually eat more and weigh less. This will reduce your risk of obesity. Obesity is a huge risk factor for getting dementia later on in life. Along with the food comes the drink. Try to avoid or minimize sweet drinks, alcohol throughout your life. That will help you combat obesity. That will help you prevent any dementia. Exercise is important for you every day of the week. Make sure you're out doing 60 minutes of exercise on top of your daily routine. In fact, better to make it part of your daily routine. This is a routine for life. Whatever you do, make sure you're out doing 60 minutes of good, brisk walking. That will bring down your weight, bring down your blood pressure. Make sure that you're less inclined to get dementia. As in the black life color, stress, you need to avoid those stimulants, caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, and all the recreational drugs. Avoid them because they're going to increase your risk of getting dementia later on in life. With so many of the life colors, we talk about forgiveness. Now, through your life, it's important that you foster that attitude of forgiveness. It really will separate you from disease. And it's no different with dementia. The more you're able to forgive each day, the more you're able to get along with your fellow man and bear no grudges and get rid of bitterness, the lower your blood pressure, the lower your stress levels, the easier it is to lose weight. And above all characteristics for dementia, love has to be the key. I'd say for anyone worried about dementia, thinking that they may get it in the future, focus your attention, yes, on forgiveness, but also on love. Actively loving those around you, keeping your friends and family around you. That is not only good for you and for your heart and lungs and your every part of your system, but just in case, if it does happen to you, if you ever get dementia, well, what will your family have to remember you by? Will it be your disease state, or will it be the memories, the loving memories that you've left with them? So that's very important in life, that throughout the whole of your life, you're investing in love in the people around you. For those people around you, if ever you happen to fall ill with dementia, they're the same people who will be looking after you. So invest in love. That brings us to the end of the Brown Lifestyle. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the brown life color, dementia. For more information, please see my book, Life Colors, or of course you can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Chidi 24/7. But until then, I hope you live your life with color.